Welcome to the Cabrera Lab Podcast.
Hey,
Hello.
how are you doing today? What the hell does that mean?
Awesome.
That was like a noise.
Yeah, it was like noises. Words are just utterances.
With
They started
structure
by
and
just
purpose
noises
that people understand.
Well, eventually people come to understand them because they have shared mental models of them.
Do you think about these wacky things to say at the beginning of the
No,
podcast,
I
or did they
don't.
just
That
come
was
out of your
completely-
mind?
That was a completely.
Okay, ask me how I
spontaneous-
am.
How are you? Yeah, but I didn't make that face. That was a good face.
Okay, try again.
How are you? No, I didn't. I wasn't sad.
I can't even replicate.
There you go. That's an awesome
What does
sound.
that communicate to you?
Like, awesome.
All right, so listen.
Okay.
We're in these think it through thing. People love thinking it through. Okay, here's a good one.
Okay.
It's kind of professional and personal at the same time. It's professional in nature. They wrote, I keep volunteering for things, projects, committees, and side gigs.
So you keep volunteering for things, projects,
Committees,
committees,
side gigs,
side gigs.
generally known as stuff.
So this person is talking about not like volunteering for tasks. Mm-hmm. Not volunteering like at the local.
No.
You know.
Yeah, like taking on more stuff to do.
I keep taking on more stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And the reason they do that is because they don't want to let anyone down.
So they don't want to let anyone down. Okay. So and that leads to them volunteering.
Yes. Okay, but here's the problem.
Okay.
But now they're constantly behind, exhausted, and resentful because of this overcommittal.
So this leads to like effects.
Yeah.
And the effects are what?
Falling behind,
Falling behind,
exhaustion, resentment.
exhaustion,
So it's not a good place.
and resentment.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a little part zoom in here and a little zoom in there.
Oh, yeah.
And we got some barbell relationships, yeah?
Okay, so here's what they said. When I try to set boundaries, I feel guilty and I worry that people will think I'm not a team player.
So set boundaries. And set boundaries means
Saying no, probably.
saying no.
Yep.
So like no, saying no to this.
But the problem is they're worried that they're going to be thought of as not a team player, right? And so they say, I need a way to stop overcommitting without feeling like I'm sabotaging my own status, as a good person.
Okay, so I'm going to move this. So they're setting boundaries here on this relationship, right?
Uh-huh.
Because they're trying to stop this from happening.
Yes.
But there's this beautiful thing happening. By beautiful, I mean terrible. They're trying to set boundaries, but when they set boundaries, they worry about this thing.
Ah, yes.
So they've literally, quite literally, if you map out if you map this out, what they're doing is they've got this like circuit that's short circuiting, and they've put themselves in a box. Which is when I try to set boundaries, I worry about disappointing people, so I don't set boundaries. So I volunteer, so I get the effects.
Yes.
So it's this thing right here, this relationship right here. From when I set boundaries, I worry about this.
Right.
And now I'm in this loop.
Because that loop creates this loop.
Which always creates this. So again, what we've done here is we've got just some zoom in, like what does volunteer mean? It means this, like what are the parts of it? So we've got zoom in. We've got another zoom in here. What are the effects? So it's just a part whole system. And then we've got a part party, which is how things relate with this critical relational distinction, this barbell here.
Yeah.
So we've got barbell and part party. Right, and when we try to set boundaries, we can RDS this. So this is called an RDS barbell. So
yeah. So for me, I think when you're sort of trying to think it through, that's the first step, right? Is looking at this. This is the critical piece.
This is the piece that is failing. You're trying to do this, but it fails because this. Right? So this leads to this, and this leads to that. That's pretty clear. But so then what you try to do is you try to break this. And as soon as you break this, you make it conditional on this. Right? You back relate it to this. And so this becomes the driving force of everything. So if you don't solve this,
right,
then this will just continue. All of this will continue.
Why wouldn't we break this down and think about like why?
We would think about, well, what are some of the ways that you set boundaries?
Yeah.
And then we would break this down into parts. So this is a lot of zoom in. Right? Why, what are some of the reasons, or what are some of the things that you do that you think about disappointing people?
Yeah.
Or not being a team player. So not being team player is one of them. I think they mentioned.
Yeah.
Not being team player, disappoint.
Yeah.
What were some of the other? Were there other things that?
Well, that it's related to their status.
Status.
Their status, sort of as a person in the organization, that they're somebody that will.
Yeah. So I mean, all of it is having to do with what other people think. So it's what other people think, right? That's one of the things, one of the perspectives. But it's also from the perspective of, we should distinguish these two things, what I think other people think.
Oh, say more about that. That's interesting.
So this is a distinction here. We're distinguishing between these. So what we'd have to know is this thing here, not being a team player, is that what these people think? Or is it what you think they think? And those are not the same thing.
No.
So we would look at each of these from those two different perspectives, because I would want to know, do you have evidence that they think this? Or are you just making this up based on your emotional dysregulation?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I would want to differentiate, for this one, is that, like, give these numbers, is this 1 or 2?
Is there evidence of
Is there evidence of 1 or is it 2? Is there evidence of 1 or is it 2? Is it evidence of 1 or is it 2?
Right.
Because, first of all, we want to know if they're all 2, well then, and they might all be 2.
It could be.
then we know where to put the effort. The effort is in 2.
Well, the effort in 2 is, this mental model needs to be bumped up against the reality of the data you find here, right? So the only way to debunk that is to be like, hey, we've tested it. Nobody actually thinks these things. That's just something you think.
Well, or you don't know whether they think those things. So that's just something you think that they think.
Yeah.
Right? There's no evidence for it. It's just something you think. And the question that I always ask myself when I end up in this box is, why would I have so much hubris to think that I know what everybody thinks?
Yeah, that's pretty big power.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of hubris.
Yeah.
To think that I know what everybody's thinking.
Right.
I would want to push up against that.
There's 2 things that are coming to my mind. One is, I sometimes think that when these kinds of people have these kinds of issues, a lot of it is encouraging them to take a step back and test their mental model, the assumptions they're making in their mental models, and kind of look at themselves a little bit.
100%.
Right? Like,
yeah.
Why have we created
almost
this?
All roads lead back to you?
I know,
right? Like, I mean, all roads lead back to you almost always. I mean, like, you have agency over this problem.
Yeah.
And you're putting your agency in creating a like Houdini level box.
Yeah.
That you're trapped in. You've literally created a circuit that you cannot get out of based on what right? And that Houdini can't get out of.
Yes.
Right? And then you're wondering why you can't get out of it. Well, you created it. You created this little box.
Yeah.
And the diagram, the reason we diagram or physicalize is because it shows you the box. And you get, the problem is when you first hear about this problem, you get sucked into all this stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, this is just the effect.
That's the cause.
This is the problem right here. This thing right here, this loop, where this thing leads to this thing, which leads to this stuff. And so you try to put a stopper in place, but that stopper is dependent on this thing.
Yes. Yes.
Well, then what do you expect to happen?
Right. Well, and we have people who work with us, and we are very careful to say, you have to sort of draw your boundaries, manage yourself, because the truth is, somebody that's in this state over here is not really a team player. No. It's not really contributing.
No.
Right? So part of it is people need to see that this state of being is not going to satisfy this either.
Yes. This is all very self-serving. I know that's hard to hear, but it's all very self-serving.
We'll say more what you mean by that.
I mean, you're worried about what other people think. And you don't even know whether they think it.
Right.
And you've created a loop that is impossible to get out of. And it's all driven by this.
Yeah.
And they said it right the first time. They don't want people to think.
Yeah. That they're not a team.
We don't even know if they're thinking that. We just don't want them to think it.
Oh, yeah. So it's preventive.
Right? So we have to ask ourselves, why is it that we are giving our agency away to, we're not even giving it away to other people. We're giving it away to our little mini me who's deciding what other people think.
Yeah, the way I think about it is you're kind of giving away your agency to a faulty mental model that you want to believe.
Yes.
This person wants to believe that they're so important that they have to say yes to everything.
Yes.
And also dysfunctionally believe that if they don't say yes, they're not going to be valued by people.
Yes.
So that's serving your own mental model of yourself and your value.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Because we've talked a lot about this, the people who believe that being busy or looking busy means that they're valuable. This episode is brought to you by STSI, the Systems Thinking Standards Institute.
Yes, super excited to work with STSI, raising the standard for 8 billion systems thinkers, science-based standards, training, the professional systems thinking credential, accreditation for organizations, the systems thinking or thinker toolkit. And so I really encourage folks to go to stsi.pro, take the trainings, get the credentials, get your organization accredited, get the toolkit. Yeah. It's good stuff.
Help us get to 8 billion.
And it's a 501c3 nonprofit.
Don't forget that.
It's a great partner. I think the most effective people are not busy.
Why? What do you mean?
Because I think we've got a culture where, being busy is some badge of honor.
Yeah.
And it's I don't see it as a badge of honor. I see it as you're doing something wrong.
Mismanaging yourself.
You're mismanaging yourself if you're busy all the time. There's a great book called The Tao of Pooh, one of my favorite books. Tao of Pooh, like Pooh Bear.
Yeah.
Pooh.
Yes.
And it talks about the rabbit, who's the character in Christopher Robin's Winnie the Pooh. And Rabbit is about busy Baxton, right? Because he literally is so busy, he doesn't have enough time to write the sign that he puts on his little house.
The tree. He lives in a tree.
He lives in a tree or something. Yeah. And so he said, I forget how he spells it, but it's busy Baxton. Because he writes it so fast that he can't, right? So the name of the story is Busy Baxton. And it's this idea that I'm so busy, I don't even have time to write the sign that I'm busy.
Because he's trying to write busy back soon.
Busy back soon.
Yeah.
But nobody understands what he said. So they think, I can't remember how it goes, but I think maybe they think he got kidnapped or something.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it's just totally ineffective.
Well, I mean,
he wrote a sign to say, I'll be back soon.
So busy, I can't.
It was so busy that it was totally ineffective.
Well, it's interesting because what it all comes down to is being able to, in many ways, draw out and see the structure of how you're thinking things through so that you can actually break it down in a way that you can get some footing with it. right? And we're changing it.
I mean, it's not 100% related, although it is pretty closely related. And I think you'll remember this, but I have a concept that you look from above in order to understand this. So you take a person, and from above, they just look like, this person, right? There's their shoulders, and this is their nose. And
your art is fabulous.
And you look from above, right? And a person that goes through the world and is affected by everyone and everything that is said, I always think of it as this person has like 2x4s.
Yes, I remember.
Right? It's like they're walking around and they have 2x4s that go through them. And every one of their little worries is like a 2x4 for different people, different situations. And so they have all these 2x4s going through them. I don't know why I think this way, but this is so.
Sense.
Imagine like you're a person that you don't die, but you just have these things sticking out in every direction, right? And then now imagine that I asked you to walk down the street.
Yes.
What would happen? You would just be spinning and then back spinning and then spinning, and you'd constantly be spinning.
Yeah.
Because of the forces of just reality.
Yeah.
You'd run into buildings, you'd run into people, you'd run into situations, and you'd constantly feel like you were just spinning.
Because your movement isn't governed by yourself.
Because your movement is not governed by yourself. You're giving your agency away by when somebody bonks into this.
Yeah.
If they're affected at all, then you turn this way. And then somebody else bonks into this and you turn back this way. And what we have to do is work on ourselves to suck all these 2x4s in, right?
Yeah.
Ideally, you want to not have any protuberances other than your nose, right?
And your arms.
Your arms.
Your own arms.
Right? So you erase all these 2x4s to make it so that you can just move and adapt and have agency. And a lot of what we're talking about here is what I call 2x4 guy.
That's your name for him? 2x4 guy?
Guy.
That's a fancy name. It's funny. Right, but I think what's interesting is it's a good point of reflection, as you're going through your day.
Yeah.
And maybe you're starting to feel stressed or busy or whatever. Ask yourself, am I 2x4 guy?
2x4
guy? Are all of my actions and movements actually governed by something else? Because that would be an interesting exercise, really.
Yeah.
To think about that.
And this has a lot to do with action, reaction, which are the two elements of relationships.
Right.
So if we understand each one of these 2x4s is like action, reaction. And what if you understand that all of your reactions, you can make a relationship internally between your reaction to something and your chosen action.
Right.
And if you don't see that connection between your reaction and your chosen action, then you're always your reaction is your chosen action. Right?
Right. Meaning if you're not having that moment of metacognition, you're just going to be reactive to the world. You're not going to be able to sort of have your agency and act upon the word because it's consciousness.
Yeah, so if I draw my little nose guys, these are the nose guys.
Yeah, can one be a girl?
Sure, this one's a girl.
There you go.
If there's an action here, so this is an action, and then you have a reaction.
Right.
And then you have an action going backwards. This is an action, and then this is a reaction.
Right.
That's the basic idea of any relationship. All relationships have that structure. But because DSRP is a fractal, we can also, anytime you have two objects, you can relate them.
Right.
So we can also do a relationship between the reaction and the action. And what you're saying, in this little moment right here, if we can RDS barbell that moment, which is another move.
Yeah.
In that moment, if we can just have a little bit of awareness, a little bit of metacognition in this little fast moment that happens right there between your reaction and your action, then we can make it so that the reaction isn't always our action.
Right.
And that gives us agency, and agency gets us in a feedback loop of empowerment and all kinds of other things. What we're talking about in this situation is a feedback loop of disempowerment and lack of agency.
Right, but that moment is actually the origin point of self-regulation.
Totally.
Right.
This is emotional intelligence in a nutshell.
Constantly.
These are the mechanics of emotional intelligence. And this move that we're talking about is a slightly more advanced move. Not too advanced, but we call this Rar Quad.
Right.
Because you have a quad, 1, 2, 3, 4 quad of RAR, of relationship, action, reaction. So we call that Rar Quad. It's one of my favorite and most important moves. This move is at the base of all interaction, especially human interaction. It's at the base of a lot of like therapy and coaching and all that kind of stuff. It's a very powerful move.
Well, what's interesting about the move is you've got these very important interpersonal relationships, but you've got this equally important intrapersonal relationship. And this is about self-regulation, agency, whereas this is about how am I going to communicate with others. And the thing is, if you have both, you're in good shape.
Yeah.
Because then you're regulating yourself, and you're also able to sort of interact in a very different way with people.
Yeah, that's a super important point. Inter versus intra.
Yeah.
And I would say, we often finish this with personal, but it's interpersonal. Intrapersonal. Because, this is happening at work all the time. I mean, people that do this are really good to work with.
Yes.
People that don't do this are difficult to work with.
They're the people that are reactionary. They take things personally.
Lack emotional intelligence, emotional regulation, all that kind of stuff. They're ego-based, all kind. They're reactive, essentially. They have lots of buttons. They have lots of triggers and things like that.
Well, what's interesting is, as I came to learn DSRP over many years, to me, the most profound thing was the intrapersonal.
Totally.
Like understanding, because you can see effects immediately at the surface level between and among, like the way I talk to others, and I can see effects in understanding the distinctions people are making that are different from mine. But then when you actually go inward and you sort of use those things as checks on yourself, to me, that's where you really have sort of transformational effects and increases in your own agency and understanding.
Yeah, and to me, that's the power of this fractal that is DSRP, is because it's a fractal, you can use it at any level of scale. You can use it at the intra level, inside you, your metacognition, your awareness, your relationship to yourself. You can use it at the interpersonal level, right, between others.
Yes.
And you can use it at the organizational level when you have whole teams of people all that kind of stuff. So, it just is so scale free. That's a technical term, but it really is. It's irrelevant what scale you're at. You can use the same set of structures and moves at every level of scale.
Well, that simple think it through just took a whole new turn, which I love.
Yeah.
Because we haven't had a chance to really go into some of this, but it definitely...
And we talked about 2x4 guy.
Oh, we finally got 2x4 guy out. But here's the thing that's interesting to me is this is a very common everyday thing that happens to so many people. And the point is there are ways to change that for yourself, to increase your own agency and effectiveness and all of that, and understand what's motivating you.
Yeah, I mean, I've done this long enough to know that whenever I see a problem that just like persists and persists and persists, and the person's even worried about it, like they are consciously worried about the fact that it's persisting, it almost always has one of these loops in it.
The box.
That is, it's like it paints you into a corner. Your own mental model of the problem paints you into a corner.
Yeah.
And then you just circle in that corner. You never get out of that corner, that box, right? And the single number one most important thing to do with those kinds of problems, those persistent, I even know about it and I keep doing it kind of problems, is get it out of your head.
Yes.
Get it on paper, get it physical, OOT, object-oriented thinking. Get it out in blocks, in cards, in whatever, Post-it notes, sugar packets, whatever you want to use. You have to get it out of your head, because if you don't, this little loop happens so fast in your head, and it's so conflated in your head, you'll never see it. But when you get it out and you actually build it, you go, no, of course. Any little system that I built that had this is going to behave that way.
Well, so that's right. So get it out of your head and then look for your Houdini boxes in your mental models.
Exactly.
Right. And then I also think the nice extension of this is, remember the intern intra.
Yep.
The intra, like you have agency over how you act and react in this world. If you're slow yourself down a little bit.
Hundo P.
See your mental. Oh, you got Hundo P in too. You got 2 before guy. Rar Quad.
Do I get like
all your
like
favorites.
a coupon every time? All right. Well, I think that is a wrap.